this week, Joe Biden came to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to give the most vicious, hateful, and divisive speech ever delivered by an American president, vilifying 75 million citizens plus another probably 75 to 150, if we want to be accurate about it, as threats to democracy and as enemies of the state. You're all enemies of the state. He's an enemy of the state.
Good evening from Los Angeles, California. I'm Dr. Ryan Ava. One day after Donald Trump got on stage and called federal law enforcement vicious monsters and the President of the United States the enemy of the people, we got a primetime lesson in just how effective it is when a corrupt president is allowed to put so many judges on the bench. That is because a federal judge who Trump picked today did him a huge favor, to put it in a Trumpian terms, on an investigation that could not be more critical to our national security. U.S. District Judge Eileen Canon released her ruling today, granting the request by Trump legal team for a special master to review the material seized from Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort and residence to look for any privileged material. Now, while that process unfolds, the judge is blocking the Justice Department from continuing its investigation into Trump's theft and grossly negligent mishandling of classified documents. Now, not only has every single federal prosecutor and former Department of Justice lawyers that I have shown you on this show said there was no need for a special master in this case, so did Trump's own former Attorney General and fixer, William Barr.
I think the whole idea of a special master is a bit of a red herring. The only documents that have been taken, it seems to me, that there's a legitimate concern about keeping away from the government and insulating the government from would be documents relating to his private lawyer communications, him as an individual and his outside lawyers. If there's stuff like that, fine, identify it. There doesn't appear to be much of it. I'm not sure you need a special master to identify it, but what people are missing is that all the other documents taken, even if they claim to be executive privilege, either belong to the government because they're government records, even if they're classified, even if they're subject to executive privilege, they still belong to the government and go to the archives. And any other documents that were seized, like news clippings and other things that were in the boxes containing the classified information, those were seizable under the warrant because they show the conditions under which the classified information was being held. So I think it's a red herring. I think it would, at this stage, since they've already gone through the documents, I think it's a waste.
Now, what we know is that Donald Trump admits that he took the documents. He admits that they were not only in a storage room in his completely insecure resort, but that they were also in his private office. We know that some of these documents were classified with markings putting them at the highest level of the most highly protected materials in the United States government, and among the materials seized were numerous envelopes marked classified that were completely empty. And yet, despite all of that, this 41-year-old judge appointed by Trump in the waning months of his presidency has decided that Trump has the right to have the investigation of that crime halted. Leading up to this investigation, Harvard constitutional scholar Lawrence Tribe said this about the judge, quote, "She could either redeem herself by starting to act like a real federal judge, unaffected by the identity of the president who appointed her, or earn the condemnation of national security experts and legal mavens by botching the biggest case most judges ever touch in a lifetime and endangering the lives of our spies abroad," unquote. It now appears that she has chosen the latter one. Perhaps it should not come as much of a surprise though. She telegraphed last month that she was already inclined to rule in Trump's favor. This is, of course, what Trump has always had in mind for his appointed judges, for them to do his bidding. As MSNBC opinion columnist Dean Obeidullah writes, quote, Trump himself encouraged Americans to think of federal judges as beholden to the president who appointed them, unquote. Remember, Trump has gone on the attack against judges appointed by President Obama as quote Obama judges. In 2016, he attacked a federal judge who was handling a lawsuit against his corrupt fake Trump University, and even called for his recusal because he was, quote, an Obama pick, totally biased and hates Trump, end of quote. He did the same in 2018 when a judge appointed by President Obama put a hold on his plan for refusing asylum applicants from immigrants who cross the border illegally. With Trump, he always looks at everything as my or mine. My generals, my classified documents, my judges. And apparently, he's got one. To support my work, please click the subscribe, the like button, and the notification bell so you wouldn't miss any of my new videos.